Hi there. My name is Donna Peterson, and you are listening to the B2B Marketing Excellence Podcast. I'm going to take you on a journey all around the world where we're going to talk with business owners and business leaders about marketing trends and techniques that are going to help you stand out from your competition. So let's roll up our sleeves and let's jump in. I am so happy today because I am going to be talking with Lorraine Duncan. She is the president of Biz Gone Social. She is a B2B social media expert. I'm stressing B2B, people, because that's so important. And today she's going to help us with LinkedIn. We all know how large LinkedIn is. They have over 774 million members across 200 countries, which encompasses 55 million companies. So as a B2B brand, we all have to be there. So let's jump in and talk to Lorraine about how we all can be experts on LinkedIn. Hi, Lorraine, how are you?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, because as I mentioned, LinkedIn is so big and you have to know how to do it right. Otherwise, we'd all be wasting our time and money.
Absolutely. And a lot of times when you're using LinkedIn, you just think, well, I'll just go in and fill out a profile and never go back to it. So it's really important that we do know how to use LinkedIn right.
Yeah, definitely. I know we want to dive into deeper issues, but one I heard about yesterday is when people don't even change the URL.
Yes, it's called a vanity URL, and it's such a simple thing to do, and it makes any kind of your marketing so good. So for instance, if you look on my background right now, I have a QR code, little picture there, and basically you just put your, whatever, you just scan it on your phone, and the LinkedIn URL is pretty much right in it. So all the thing is, even on your business cards, on your email signature, having that URL, you don't want that long tail number, because what is 5622222? It's like you just don't want it,
Sounds like we're prisoners.
And it also goes along with the whole branding thing.
Yes.
Across the board. So it's you just, if you're branding yourself as somebody who's personal, that as a personal brand, that's in business and is B2B, then you want to make sure that, it says Lorraine Duncan. I mean, I brand me as Lorraine Duncan too. So it's like I'm Lorraine Duncan and Biz Gone Social. So my company page is Biz Gone Social.
Okay, so now that's an issue we're going to get to next. But first, I'm a big proponent right now. B2B marketing has to be about building relationships.
Yes.
And how do we take that philosophy and make it work on LinkedIn?
So I always love to talk about this because I have lots of pet peeves around this. And so I am what you call, so there's two kind of networkers. So I'm a networker. And so when you're B2B, in the old school days, you would network, you'd go to different events and meetings and you would network, you would hand out your business card and, have a little conversation. And
Yes.
It was basically getting to know someone. So I'm describing this the same way you do this on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you had mentioned, for instance, there's over 700 million people on it.
Yes.
I think LinkedIn's goal is actually to get to 2 or 3 billion. So that's their goal. So what I'm going to say with that is, what a better way to network with the people that you want to. Now, that doesn't just mean to network with the people that, are your potential clients, because yes, you do want to do that, but you also want to, throughout this whole thing, you want to network with people who are your strategic partners too. And so my pet peeve is that I'm in full disclosure, I am an open networker, but I have rules around it. I have my own rules around it. You have to have a complete profile. You have to be active. You have to, you have to have a certain amount of followers, because I don't want somebody to connect with me that is just connecting with me because I have over 6,000 followers.
Right.
Because then they're looking to spam my people. So all that to say is that my pet peeve is that when I connect with someone, they send me 8 paragraphs with a sales pitch at the end. And I honestly, and that's through messaging, because it's a beautiful way to start connecting with people. And it feels weird. It feels like, like if you're on a date, they want to go to the kiss on the first date, they want to go to the kiss right away. And I'm like, no, 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 no. And so I usually disconnect with those people.
I totally agree. That's what I think, those types of messages is what kind of sheds a bad light on LinkedIn. Because we all get it. Like you say, connect with someone, and then all of a sudden you get this lengthy thing. And what I'm doing now is if they come back with this big, long sales thing, I'm unconnecting with them. I don't want to be part of them, because that's not it. It's not about hitting me with a sales message. Like you said, it's about creating a conversation back and forth.
Yeah. And some of it, like I like to come from a place of, give. So like if I'm connecting with someone, and maybe that, like I've met them first, like today, for instance, I was at BNI and there was a new person out. And so basically what I did, if I wanted to connect with them, and usually what I would do is get their name, and then I say, hey, can we connect on LinkedIn? And that's how we do it. And then I usually give them something. So if I meet, like, for instance, a real estate agent, tons of real estate agents, by the way, on LinkedIn. If your market is real estate agents or brokers, place to be and a place to connect, but you don't want to sell your stuff to them right away. So what I usually do is I'll give them an article from Forbes or Entrepreneur or Biz Weekly in their field, something that will help them move forward. And then I'll say something like, hey, let's have if you want to, like, grab a call someday and have a discussion about this, I would love to. Or maybe it's just a casual, somebody you don't know, just meeting them. Tell who you are. You have to tell who you are. But, sometimes, like, hey, I'm an alumni of this school. What are you up to now? Are you actually doing ask them something about themselves? Because here's what I've learned through networking is that everybody likes to talk about themselves.
Yes.
But be strategic with it. Find out about who they are, and learn about them. Because if they find that you're interested in them, it's going to come so easy. They're going to recommend you. They're going to refer you.
Well, also, if you find that you have something in common, that creates a bond then you can build off of.
Yes, absolutely.
I went into a woman yesterday because I saw that she was from Hopewell Junction, New York. And I went into her and I said, oh, hi, how are you? It's ended up my husband grew up in Stormville. So it was a very close area. And I don't hear from people coming from that area very often. So I just said, oh, wanted to connect here. But I agree with you. You find that common bond, whether it's something they said in their post, or maybe they went to your same college and tried to connect with them just to start a conversation. And your idea about giving is like preaching to the choir here. I would do my angels. I do it all the time because I love that. I tell that to my clients all the time. Give out information that will help them make the decision whether they want to talk to you further.
Absolutely. And, today it's interesting because there's so many people on LinkedIn, you don't have to connect with everybody. And that's, like, really important, because a lot of people, they're going for the no. They were taught in sales school that let's go for the no. The more people you contact, somebody's going to bite. Yeah. But it really isn't the right way to do it. It's like 8 paragraphs. Okay. I'm not exaggerating that. 8 paragraphs was sent in my inbox the other day. Nobody's going to read that, number one. And that was a mass copy and paste across all people. Right. They didn't even say, dear Lori, or hello, Lorraine, I should say, or hello. They just went right into it. It was like, it's
people have to stop, and they've got to do their research and be authentic. Because when I talk about this relationship building now, I'm kind of getting mad at the term because everyone's using it, but they're not walking the talk. They're not trying to really develop those deep relationships that will take their marketing to the next level.
Right. And the thing is, you've probably on many other of your shows, you've had people on that have talked about that whole know, like, and trust factor. Yes. The bottom line is that people have to get to know you. online, yes, you can sell a whole lot of stuff online. You can, but they're not going to start buying from you until they get to know you and trust you. So that's what you're basically doing on LinkedIn. It's a little different than, the other platforms that are out there,
Right.
such as Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Totally different.
Yeah.
This is literally, you're going in a virtual room and you're connecting with people.
Yeah.
And you're being engaged. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people out there, relationship marketing is a two-way street. So like if you say something to me, or if you say something on one of my posts in LinkedIn and I don't answer you back, that's almost like I'm in a networking room live and I'm turning my back on you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
that's a
need
good
to
point.
make sure, you need to make sure you're active.
Yeah.
So everybody says, well, I'm on LinkedIn and I posted like a month ago and I connected with a few people and I accepted a few things, and then they don't go, then they go invisible for the next 6 months. And then they say, LinkedIn doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Well, because you really have to actively work it.
Yeah.
You really have to be on it and come from the place of not what you need, but you got to come from the place of how can I serve you? How can I help you?
What will benefit your audience?
Yes.
And it's funny, Simon Sinek even uses this when he gives presentations. He goes, to be a good speaker, it's not what you want to get out of speaking. What are you going to give the audience? What does the audience want from you? So now, if we hop to the next question, what type of posts do you feel work better? Do you like the images or the videos or just plain text?
I do not like plain text. So I can rule that out right away.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
However, when people do, and it's kind of weird too, because when people do an article, for instance, they usually do put a picture with it.
Yes.
But some people don't. And
Yes.
I was just reading, I don't know where I was reading this recently, but they said that sometimes those get more views than the ones with a picture. However, we're really visual, and
Yeah.
it's a lot. Again, I use my phone a lot for LinkedIn.
Right.
So like
Okay.
if I'm, like if I'm waiting somewhere in the doctor's office or whatever, I literally go onto the app of LinkedIn and I'm able to do what I need to do in that time frame. So
Yeah.
here's the thing though, this is what I've learned. So I'm going to say all of the above are good. It just it matters how you deliver it. So if you're doing you're streaming in live to LinkedIn.
Yes.
Whoever's on at the time and whoever you're connected with, they're going to see that.
Right.
And so that's going to get attention. People are looking at videos. Lives, I believe, should be short. Don't go, they shouldn't be that long. Okay. The live should not be that long, but
When you say short, what do you mean?
well, my, for instance, I do something called Finish Strong Friday, and I try to keep it under 5 minutes. I've gone quicker. I mean, I reintroduced it to LinkedIn last week, and I think it was like 2.5 minutes. And it's like real quick. It's the end of the week things that you should be doing. So with LinkedIn,
You have to worry about, excuse me, the time so that you give people
Yes.
time to comment.
yes, interestingly enough, so I was going to say this too, is that time does matter a lot, because most people go onto social media about 3 times a day. They'll flip onto Twitter or Facebook and their email early in the morning.
Oh,
and then
yes,
not-
definitely. Yeah.
And then maybe not look at it until lunch. And then it used to be that LinkedIn was a 9 to 5 platform,
No, not, yeah.
Monday through Friday. So this is what I discovered. This is very interesting too. And I'm not only doing it with me, but I'm doing it with my clients too. I discovered when I post anywhere between 11 to 1, doesn't matter what day, and I'm posting 7 days a week, just one post. Literally, I've seen clients gotten through that. I just recently had a client that got 2 clients recently on LinkedIn, and I attribute that to her posting more on LinkedIn because we've
Interesting.
been doing LinkedIn for years and
Yeah.
she never got anything from it.
I find Sundays have been the weekend has become very active on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Where years ago, you know, like you said, LinkedIn was considered business. It should be the business week. It shouldn't ooze into the weekend. But I feel that Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays is when someone might have the opportunity to really go through, look, and respond to things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, way back when I first learned LinkedIn, I was told by a LinkedIn expert that, oh, only post once a week.
Yeah.
So I did that for years, but I can absolutely say beyond a shadow of a doubt now that you have to be if you post every day, you're visible. So those people that are connected with you, they're going to see you. Now, the things that do good, because I didn't really kind of answer that, I like them all. Videos always do good. People want to just be quick, do video, and plus it's captioned now. You can see it on the
Yes.
phone, can watch it. So those are good. But I noticed a really nice visual, a nice graphic with I've been very pointed in what I do. I write like a little blurb, just a little caption, you know, in the graphic that is going to make them read the content. And then the content's just a little longer. And I try to stay under no more than 2 paragraphs. And I find that I get more engagement with those. So, and again, it's time,
Yes.
you know, like, and here's the thing to everybody out there is if you're not getting likes, shares, and then somebody commenting on your post within the first hour, you're basically, they're not going to show it. That's why if you see, for instance, if, you know, the big gurus out there that are on and they post something, then they get comments right away. And all of a sudden you see 20,000, or it's because they're showing it. LinkedIn is actually showing that content.
Yeah.
Because it's relevant.
Interesting. All right. Then I want to go, I know we're getting close to the end of our time, but talking about the different types of posts you do, what do you recommend if you have a company page, but you have some top executives? So for instance, me or yourself, do you post under your name, Biz Gone Social, or do you post under Lorraine Duncan, or do you post under both, but differently?
No, so
Sorry.
it's all good. So I'm not Coca-Cola, Nike, Procter and Gamble.
You're not?
No. So the bottom line is I mean, my company page needs help. And it's actually, so here's the things though. I do post to both of them. And if I post something to my personal page, yes, but most people come through me through my personal page. So I'm sticking with that. Then I do post occasionally. Oh, I didn't post all week last week, so I'll grab one of my posts and put it on. But here's the thing, what I heard. I read an article and I think it was put out by LinkedIn. I'm not sure. I know it was put out by LinkedIn, but they said that they want to boost these company pages. They want more action on it. So my advice is that if you are producing content, it doesn't hurt to put it on the company page. But also when you're out there networking, ask people, hey, we connected here, but would you mind connecting to my company page? Because here's the thing, we need to grow. It's almost too late right now, but you really need to grow that company page.
Yeah.
I literally I just been paying so much attention to doing everything through Lorraine Duncan, and I have Biz Gone Social in my little summary and everything, that I haven't really paid attention to my company page as much. But I do know that I did read that they're going to be upping the game with the whole company page and everything.
That's interesting.
People, how can you
grow? That's interesting to know. Yeah.
It's hard to grow too. That's the whole thing, is you got to decide, you've got to pick or choose. And I suppose that if I was just doing Biz Gone Social, that I could.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Most people meet me when they meet me. What's your name? It's Lorraine Duncan. You know, so if they ask me what my name is, I'm not going to say Biz Gone Social.
What I did is, because we have the same problem. You know, my personal page is fine. It's been flourishing, but the company page was kind of ignored for a while. So I have someone on staff who I put in responsible for that. And then I'm taking care of my personal page. One, to also make sure both get posts, but also to make sure that they get different types of posts in case there is a Lorraine Duncan who follows me as Donna Peterson. But if you also follow World Innovators, hopefully you're going to get different types of posts that will complement each other.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been just learning that recently because sometimes I post the same content across.
Yeah.
And that's not actually a good thing to do. It is not a good practice. And so now I have to like move to and shift all my clients to the same strategy, is that we have to be, if we're going to be posting on Twitter, which we know Twitter's these short little blurbs, and you just got to make them good, and that people want to, if you're going to put a link in there, you just shorten it. But it's almost like spamming them.
Well, but it's so easy. You could be on a platform like HubSpot or Hootsuite, and you have the post there, and you just want to say, boom, 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 and get them all out.
Yeah, and I've done that.
Consuming. That's why they need to hire someone like you, because to handle your own social media, it takes so much time. But it's besides time is you've got to have a strategy in place of how you're posting. So like what we just said, so that the messages all complement each other. Yes. And then, they get more value out of you.
Yeah. And you have to look at it. So it's like last week I had, my podcast goes up on Wednesday, and my LinkedIn goes up on Friday live. Okay. So I watch that, and I watch the numbers, and then I put different kinds of posts. Sometimes I talk about purely B2B practices. Sometimes I talk about LinkedIn. Sometimes I'll just talk about social media. And I look to see what people are commenting on and seeing how many are viewing it. I pay attention to the time. Well, like if I put something up on LinkedIn at 8:00 at night, well, everybody's on Clubhouse at 8:00 at night. They're not on LinkedIn. And so you really have to think through how you're going to, put out your content. That's why I said all of the above, with the exception of the text. Sometimes people just don't want to just look at a text,
right?
Because there's text messaging going on all day. Then they're getting emailed in their box. So sometimes a nice graphic with something that's going to help them move forward in their business is a heck of a lot better than just reading a bunch of words.
Yeah. I also find that when we sit down and we work out a strategy, so if you're going to talk on LinkedIn Live about a certain topic, we're trying to bring all the other things to be in the same realm, so that the podcast is in the same similar space. Like you said, whether it's about LinkedIn or, social media, or about mentorship, whatever it might be, you stay to that same realm. So that the messages, again, the whole thing is complementing each other to build those valuable relationships that are authentic to your brand.
Yeah. And keep in mind too, is I think that if you want to be more strategic about anything you do, is you have to have a content calendar.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't have to be this elaborate calendar with bells and whistles. Literally, you could just take a piece of paper and just hit 52 weeks.
Yeah.
And then what I used to do in the beginning to make it so easy for me, I would theme the months.
Yeah.
And that actually makes it so easy, and it keeps you consistent, because remember in the beginning, we talked about relationship marketing. Well, what happens when you start to meet someone and then you don't see them for another 3 years?
Yes. Yes.
Unless you were best friends to begin with, you can pick up right where you left off. But it's that constant restarting. So that consistency in your brand, all across your brand, your label, as you notice, I have my logo up, but your consistency in, I know Lorraine's going to post something today. I mean, I wonder what she's going to post. I mean, email marketing, same way. What's funny about it is that now when I miss a day, I'll get something in my box saying, hey, like, where was
Lorraine, are you okay?
So yeah,
Interesting.
and being out there, knowing that, guess what? Tomorrow Donna's going to be on. I know
Yeah.
she's going to be there. And as I get to know her, gee, you know what? I like Donna. I want to work with her.
Oh,
So
nice. Yeah.
you've got to be visible.
Yeah, I
And that's
started a LinkedIn Live at 4, and last week I couldn't do it because I would be flying home, but I put a recorded message up there just so I'm trying to build those followers that know LinkedIn Live, Tuesdays at 4, there I am, come and, leave your message. But
yeah.
all right, I don't want to keep you much longer. I really appreciate this conversation. And you know what? I think we need to do it again soon because there's just so much to talk about. Because I wanted to get into how, like you said, the content calendar is great for you, but also if you have a team, you've got to keep the team all on the same page. And especially, we didn't even get to if employees start to post on their personal pages, it would be great that they also reinforce the company messages, but that'll have to be for another day.
Because you just brought it up, the employees posting on pages and stuff like that. In some cases, when you're an attorney and you're working for a certain agency, what happens is you become that agency so that your LinkedIn page actually belongs to that agency. So you have to be, so then when you switch, there's all these complications with it, and sometimes you have to start over.
Interesting.
So
See, I don't
you
know.
have to,
Yeah,
a
that's
whole can of
interesting.
worms, and I don't totally understand it all, but I just know that I had been working with an attorney and they had said they're going to be opening up their own business, and it turns out that they have to actually start a whole new page.
Wow, how
I don't
interesting.
know what that's about, but if you're working for an agency, just know what their rules are
Yes, very good
around
point.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, very good point, because obviously I don't work with any attorneys, matter of fact, but that is a very good suggestion. So we'll take that under advisement. But I want to thank you very, very much for your time. I found this to be extremely helpful. I hope my audience finds it extremely helpful. And if anyone needs help with their B2B social media strategy, please contact Lorraine. And I hope you all have a great day.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening to the B2B Marketing Excellence Podcast. Please hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss our next episode. And in the meantime, if you'd like to talk to me, please feel free to send me an email to dpeterson@worldinnovators.com. Till next time, have a great day.